This is Peter Morosky, the nurse, and today I want to talk about something from my favorite anime, Danmachi, and that is Mia Grand versus Ottar in Danmachi Season 5, Episode 13. The reason why is because I've seen plenty of people saying they love how they have Mamma Mia was able to fight the king with a shovel, and then they see Ottar dismiss her. But anime only watchers don't know the contents behind this, and they don't really know how impressive this is. What anime only watchers wouldn't know is that Mia has been retired for 9 years and is still a powerful level 6, and she is considered past her prime years. So the fact that she's able to push back Ottar, a high level 7 in his prime, is extremely impressive. And I'll explain just how impressive it is and why she was able to do this, and also later on why she was also dismissed by Ottar as well. Anime only watchers wouldn't know is that Mia wasn't just the former captain of the Frey familiar. She was Ottar's teacher, much like how Eyes of Wallenstein was to Belcrenel. Mia taught Ottar everything he knows about combat and strength. Mia can read his movements like no one can, and that's part of the reason why she's able to trade blows with Ottar, because whatever move he's about to do, Mia can counter it because it's a move she taught him from a young age when he was just a little kid, right? But that's not the whole reason. The whole reason why she's able to push him back. The other main reason is because Mia is a dwarf, and if you know anything about Danmachi, is that dwarves are known for being physically the strongest race in Danmachi. This is why dwarves without blessings can kill level 1 monsters in the dungeon. So even though she's not in her prime years anymore, and she's a level below Ottar, Mia's brawn is extremely formidable, and she is a high level 6 who could become level 7 if she wanted to. In fact, another thing anime onlys will want to know is that Mia reached level 6 before any of the current characters. That includes Ottar, even though he's level 7 now. Mia reached level 6 before he did. He did. Hey, but he did. And she also became level 6 before any of the other characters like the Loki familiar, Eyes, Finn, Rivera, Gareth, not all them, and even the other members of the Frey familiar as well. So if Mia didn't retire, Mia would most likely still be on top. Heck, she could be a level 8 by this point if she didn't retire. Like I said, she's been retired for 9 years, and she could have become level 7 anytime she wants, right? And that's why Mamma Mia is able to trade blows with the king and cause shockwaves. They did show shockwaves in the anime, like when you first see them, when you see Van, that little blue haired dude just looks at him like, what the hell's going on? And when Mia's up in the air like this, and she grabs her shovel down, and Ottar counters like this, you do see a shockwave. But in the novel, their blows were causing the whole area to shake. Like every time they literally trade blows, the whole ground would just shake and it would start crumbling under them because because both of them are so physically strong. Now, to explain why Mia doing this is truly impressive, because if you watch season 3, you see Asterius fight Eyes, Bet, Tione, and Tiona, and those four are all level 6, and yet they couldn't defeat him. Sure, Eyes was able to cut his arm off, but that was mostly because of a special skill she has for monsters, and plus she caught Asterius off guard. And now, but instead, even after that, she couldn't land anymore. And after that, she couldn't beat him because Asterius got used to her sword pattern. And of course, after the fight, Finn admits to himself that Asterius' brawn and strength is on par with Ottar. He just lacks Ottar's experience and combat skills. Because Asterius, he's basically just fighting on instinct in season 3, so he doesn't have proper technique like Ottar does. So if Asterius could do that to the Loki familiar without trying or having proper technique, you can just imagine what Ottar would do to them. He would completely wipe them out. Yeah, sorry about that. I got to move my script up here. Sorry about that. And as we saw if you watch even though I admit the Sword anime is pretty crap compared to the manga, I agree. But as we see in the Sword anime, where Eyes is trying to get to Bell when he's fighting the Minotaur for the first time, Ottar blocks her path. And Eyes gives everything she's got with her aerial to get past Ottar, to get Ottar to move, but he just swipes her away and calls her slow, right? And in the manga, the fight is way more impressive. It shows just how powerful Ottar is. in the manga, Eyes does a full on attack, the full attack on Ottar. The one if you watch the Solitary anime, you see her kill Udeus. She says something like Laura Faga, where she just stabs the Udeus in the head. She used that attack. She used a smaller scale of that attack on Ottar here, but she wanted to use this to get him out of the way. But since this was her finishing move, she thought it would actually at least get him to move. But instead, well, when the little wind cleared, Ottar was still standing there. Sure, Ottar had used both his hands, but Eyes couldn't get him to move. Like Ottar was still in the one spot. And you have to keep in mind, Eyes was a level 5 when she used this against used this against Udeus, and Udeus is a high level 6 monster. So the fact that Eyes, a level 6, used the same thing on Ottar, and it didn't make him move. It didn't make him move. So yeah, you have to. Oh damn! Sorry. So the fact that Eyes couldn't get him to move it just shows how powerful Ottar is, right? And something they haven't done in the Solitary anime, because Jason Star failed at the Solitary anime because they just focused too much on Lafia and her crap, and they just kind of ruined it. So, but back to the point is that during Danmachi season 3 and season 4, after you see that scene where Eyes meets Bell on the wall when they promised to train together after Bell lost to Asterius and after their fight again over Winos, Eyes went to actually train with Ottar to get ready for the final battle against Rebus. And in exchange, I've said this before, but Eyes then owed Freya a favour, and she cashed in season 5 because Freya was being a petty, jealous schoolgirl. Anyway, back to the point. Belle and Eyes, they trained together for an entire week, and Eyes was going all out with Ariel, and by the end of it, Eyes was puffing and sweating like crazy. And she admitted herself, if she stopped using Ariel and stopped going all out, Ottar probably would have killed her. And by the end of it, Ottar barely broke a sweat and moved it, and didn't barely move from his position, right? So you can see Eyes, a powerful level 6, using her magic, couldn't get Ottar to move. Yet Mia was able to push him back with no magic or skills like Eyes' Ariel or Belle's Argo Vesta. Because if you watch episode 11 of season 5, Belle was able to get Ottar to move back, but that's because he used Argo Vesta. If Belle attacked him without it, obviously Ottar would just smack them away, as we see later on, right? Later on, so now. Yeah, so you can see why Mama Mia pushing him back was extremely impressive. I'm sure it impressed everyone who was watching the war game. But now, as for why Ottar dismissed Mia despite all this, because before she retired, Ottar became a level 5 and became level 5 and was on his way to becoming the new captain. And his goal was to beat Mia because during their years, aside from the Zeus and Hera familia, Mia was the one Ottar looked up to the most for strength, and he always wanted to defeat her in order to become worthy to become the captain, right? But he never did beat her in her prime years when he was still lower level than her. So when Mia showed up in the war game, even though Ottar doesn't really express his emotions all that much, except for like a real stoic face or getting angry when someone insults Freya or something like that. He was actually excited about it at first when Mia showed up. If you see the episode 13 where Mia just comes down with a shovel and just shoves it, just grabs into the ground. Ottar was actually excited. Yeah, like I said, Ottar was actually excited about this at first because this is the perfect gun. He can finally have a one-on-one fight with Mia and defeat her, with everyone watching. So he can put this behind him, right? Put it behind him. But this fight wasn't exactly what he wanted, because even though Mia is still able to trade blows with Ottar and they cause shockwaves and she's able to push him back a bit, it was clear to Ottar that he had surpassed her in strength, and he wasn't fighting Mia at her best anymore. And this is further proven later on, especially when Ottar uses his beast mode. And you see him just easily just fucking slams her against the wall, right? And so that's why Ottar dismissed Mamma Mia, despite Mia impressively pushing him back. And another thing is that in the show, not only how impressive Mia is, but Mia's shovel, like that shovel is absolutely insane, because Yeah, anime owners won't know this, but I do because I've looked into the lore and I looked into the lore, and also thanks to a channel called Red Line Logbook. He does a great Danmachi content. Check him out. And Ottar's sword is actually made from you. If you watch the Swordatory anime where Eyes kills Udeus, it has a sword, right? And that sword became a drop item after Eyes killed it, and Eyes gave that to the people of Floor 18, which they'll later use that sword to kill the Black Goliath that we see at the end of season 1, right? So this sword is extremely powerful. Is extremely powerful, right? Because you saw the power of it in season at the end of season 1 again when Bell used against the Black Goliath, right? So after Ottar heard about how Ice killed Udeus on her own, and he heard that Udeus has a drop sword, he immediately went to Freya for permission, and he went down to floor 37. Floor 37 on his own, like it was nothing, and he had a one-on-one fight with it to make Udeus use his sword, and he took the sword for himself after he killed it. And he gave the drop item to the Gordonu familiar, the same familiar that does Eyes as weapons. If you watch the Swordatory anime, you know the Gordonu familiar. They're the ones who does the Loki familiar weapons. And so they made it to that giant sword that we see. And I can't remember the exact price, but I think it's worth more than freaking, I don't know, 410 maybe a billion valors or something like that, and that weapon's a lot of money, and that's a lot of money for the big weapon, and that's a lot more than what Bell's Hestia knife was 200 million valors, right? So this is the only weapon that actually can withstand Ottar's strength without breaking, right? And and also, just to say, it shows how powerful Bell's Argonaut skill is, because they couldn't withstand Bell's Argonaut skill, but yet it's able to withstand Ottar's attacks, right? So yeah. So back to the point, and so the fact that Mia's shovel was able to clash with the sword is very impressive, and it makes you wonder what material that shovel was made out of, because, as I said, that sword that it's called, if you don't know, that sword that Ottar is using in the war game, the big black one that he uses, it's called the Supreme Black Sword. That Freya named it that after Ottar presented it to her after he killed Udeus. So the fact that so this shovel must be made out of some pretty strong materials, high quality materials, because they will trade blows with a level 7 adventure carrying the weapon of this magnitude of the Supreme Black Sword, right? Sword, right? So you have to understand that there's a lot more to Mamma Mia than meets the eye than they show in the anime. So yeah, I'm just going randomly at this point because I've fallen off my script right now. I'm just saying, I'm just making it up as I go. I'm just saying this as I go along. So I just want everyone to know how impressed. So I just wanted to make this video to show all the Danmachi anime only watchers, to show just how truly impressive Mamma Mia is, and why Ottar dismissed it, and also how strong Mia's shovel truly is, because for her shovel to actually withstand an attack, trade blows like we've seen in the anime, how she's able to do it like this, right? So that's extremely impressive. That's going to be one of the strongest weapons in Danmachi, despite it being it's just a giant shovel, right? So shovel, right? So this is So this has been Kumarowski, the Nerdster. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and if you want to know why their goddess Freya is an absolute fraud, and people need to stop feeling bad for her and stop shipping her with Belle Cornell, please check out my 2-part videos on that idiot on my channel. Thank you and have a great day.